Dude, you know how it would be. Had to relocate. For some reason, my landscapers decided right now to start mowing, but it's a perfect location. It's just about to go get my grub on and talk inspiration with you, man.
Listen, I got a track for you. Okay,
All right, all right.
I got a track just for you. Hold on. Here we go. I lined it up. It's queued up. This is my shout out to the homie. Here we go. Come on, Spotify, please. Okay, here we go. Yeah, baby. I'm the Osiris of this shit. What's up, baby? Motherfuckers. This 97.
36 chambers.
Here we go. Let's take it back to 79. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah. That's the tune. I saw the shirt.
Dude.
In the flyer, I'm like, yo, we got to open with this track. Taking it back.
Way back, man.
Listen, big shout out to everybody joining us. Thank you so much. What a journey this trip has been, bro. We're on day number 9 with you.
Woof.
Day number 9, just like that. Bam. And I'm so pumped every morning to like catch up with another person. Can you hear me okay? Let me put on my headphones.
100%, man. I hear you loud and clear.
Nice. So for those of you that don't know the homie Anthony, we met maybe, I like to say like at least a decade ago. Feels like a really
like 2016.
Yeah, right?
We were at the Collision Conference in New Orleans.
Yes.
And Satish, being the marketing rebel he was, broke the conference rules and put up these hilarious posters of Lionel Richie looking confused.
That's right.
And it said, "Hello, is it me you're looking for?" And then his booth number. And I just lost my shit. And I was like, I got to meet this guy.
And they even hated us because we were launching the past version, which was Applause, right? A jam spot. And we had a full DJ setup. And I was DJing in the booth. And they're like, they only gave us this tiny little booth, literally, like 4 feet across or whatever. And we had a DJ gear. We're like, forget pitching the app. We'll just play some music. And if you vibe with it, you're going to sign up anyways. And every few minutes, somebody from the organization will come and be like, can you turn the volume down? I'm like, no. This is a big, giant ass spot. What are you going to do? Kick us out? And people are all around us. You tell them to leave and turn it off. And they couldn't do it. What a great time that was, man.
Fight the power, man.
That's part of the hustle mindset, which is what this show's all about. I mean, you and I talked about it before I started this thing. I'm working on this book, trying to find, inspiration. And I really get inspired when I meet other people and I talk to them. And then through their story, like my story sort of flourishes. So that's what this has been about. And then we're building a small little tribe. When I first started, the people were like, 9 a.m., bro? What the fuck? Who's going to come at 9 a.m.? I'm like, yo, the people that come at 9 are my tribe. And if you don't come at 9, that's cool. You're somebody else's tribe. But I believe I can build a cool group of people that want to start their morning off with an energizing punch. A little bit about the homie. Somehow you went from a little town to Bogota, Colombia, a place that it's on my list. I want to talk about that journey. But what I love is how passionate you are about everything you do. Everything you ever touch, every record we talk about, everything we ever open a discussion is just, it's like all in or nothing, which is why I think we resonate really, really well. I know you're a writer. I didn't know you were a poet. I think I knew it, but I would love to hear some poetry if we close it off today. And of course, from a professional side, you're an OG sales dude. And I hate the word salesperson because it feels very like, what's the word? Salesy, but that's not the point. The point is building relationships, building trust, building, a way to help somebody else. So I really want to change that mindset. You're currently in North Carolina?
Yes, sir. RDU 919 Raleigh.
Raleigh.
Got to represent the tech hub of the South. Atlanta's given us a good run, but we're still holding strong.
Nice, man. And then spam.code. We want to talk about that too and say what's up.
Yeah.
So I think I want to just go back to the thing we try to deconstruct in this podcast is the changing of narrative within ourselves, right? So much of our life is being handed down from other people, and in most cases, it works for people. But the some of us, the misfits, the outliers, where the hand-me-down program doesn't work,
Yeah.
we're like, oh man, what do I do? And we go on this lifelong journey of hacking to understand how to unlearn our early days to relearn what makes us who we are. So one of the things that I always start out with all my guests is like, tell me about the little person, the little version of you. What are some of the voices that you were hearing back then? How is that person compared to today? And let's start with that as like a little bit of a roadmap.
I even in one of your last episodes with your guest who wrote his book at 22, amazing shout out to him. I grew up in an Italian Catholic family where it was like, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a priest. And I don't fit any of those yet. I may go back and be a lawyer someday. I don't know. Just got to help the people. But I wasn't getting in trouble. But as my grandpa said, he knows where the line is and he knows how to dance along it.
Right.
And I always love to help people. I love to make people smile and laugh. And when you move around a lot as a kid, you know this, man, that the best way to get like accepted is to make people happy.
100%.
And
100%.
that's what I've always done. But once I got into like teenage years, you get that anxiety, you start to feel the weight, you feel that negativity, and you kind of give into it and you silence that voice. And as you mentioned, I'm a writer and I'm a poet, and I can't tell you how many stacks of stories I wrote when I was young. And then when I was a teenager and young adult, I was like, this isn't cool. I'm not going to make a living doing this. And it is my purpose in a way. And so I've refound that passion. Big shout out to my Paradox and Poetry family, Travis, Thomas, Maria Rosa. They helped me refine that voice. And right. Even through my corporate life, my startup life, my sales life, that's how Spam.co came out, was a reflection on what I've done and how to help other people not do what I did, which was get spammed.
Yeah. So at some point, as you're getting a little older, you're starting to look at like, what do I want to do? Which is a question I hate. I always tell young people, stop thinking about what do I want to do and start asking, who do I want to become?
Yeah.
And it's a shift in mindset. The minute you say, who do I want to become versus what do I want to do? How were you looking at that situation? You're trying to now figure out, okay, what do I got to do for a living? How was that transition?
Honestly, it was actually a kick in the teeth. Almost not as bad as COVID, but I graduated in 2008. I had an MBA and focused on process management, applied economics, human resources. And I always had a passion of how do I help people do what they do best? And I kind of got thrown into sales. And it was one of those things that it just came naturally in a way. But when you have the will, you also have to have the skill. And that took a lot of time.
Boom. Boom. Say it one more time, man.
When you got the will, you can get the skill.
Damn, son. So good. So good. But sales is like the hardest career to make any difference for yourself and whoever you're working for. Like, I've hired so many sales folks, and I feel for them because I know what they need me to do and I know what they want to do, but it's just they're dealing with customers. Talk to me about building that fighter mindset. You know, it's the 249 rejections to get to the first, yes. And no other industry says that's what you got to plan on. What other industries say, oh, you want to be successful? Figure out how many rejections you're going to get before you get a lead. And that's your day.
I reflect a lot on the art and whether it be as a singer, as a poet, as a comedian, those are sales because you're selling yourself. And you got to be willing to get up every single day, do your 5-10 minute set like you're doing with this show, and take the feedback and take it on the chin and not make anything, because you're getting better and you're getting paid in experience and you're getting paid in stories. Right before this, I had a call with a colleague, Rev Genius, fam, got to represent.
Hey, Rev Genius. I'm talking to Jared later today.
Nice. And he called me and he was like, dude, I just had the worst demo in my life. And I said, okay, let's break it down. What happened? Let's go through how you could do it again. Watch the game tape. Sales is one of the most responsive systems because you get instant feedback. And if you listen to the universe and you apply and you don't give up and you come back, you are going to be absolutely set. And it's one of those things that you can't blame anybody but yourself in this situation. If a deal goes bad, follow up in 6 months. They've changed, you've changed.
Yeah.
It's just that tenacity to always come back.
Talk about that, because I want to get into the roots of that, right? Because you and I are in a place where we can say, be persistent, be tenacious, review the footage. But folks that are getting into this thing, whether it's sales or whether it's a dream job and you're on your 100th interview, or whether it's your startup that's still not kicking up a storm, what are some of the ways, and I want you to get to like do this every morning kind of a mindset. How do you build that resiliency? How do you build that mindset? What actions do people take as soon as they like end this video?
Yeah. Number one, I gotta give a shout out to one of my favorite authors. I'm in the middle of his book right now, and he's got a very similar story to you. David Goggins.
Oh, I want to play that Triumph track again. That's a big.
Oh my God. The man was over 150 kilos twice in his life. Went through Bud's training 3 times, 3 weeks. Should have been a statistic. Grew up in a abusive, alcohol-filled household, and now is just getting it. And the way he does it is you do something that sucks every day.
Say that one more time. That's a bomb too.
You gotta do something that sucks every day. You don't like to drink water? Guess what? Drink a gallon. Make yourself do it. And what he turned me on to, and I absolutely love it, whatever your goal is, whatever your dream is, make it a SMART goal. So you can measure it, it's achievable, you got a time limit on it, and you put this up on a post-it, on a mirror in your house, not the one with the shower because these will fall down. And every morning, look at yourself in that mirror and hype yourself up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do something to get there. And be humble. Make sacrifices. Have one less latte. Find a free version of what you're doing. And guess what? Every software you use, there's a free version. It's called a legal pad and a Sharpie.
Right.
You can hack your way to greatness and smart growth through a startup, through your career, through your network. Nobody starts out with 6,000 plus contacts on LinkedIn. If you write every day, if you reach out every day, you do one thing that sucks every day, I guarantee you in 3 months, you're going to look back and be like, where did I even begin?
Yeah, it's crazy because in one of the other podcasts, we talked about like what is the 1% difference, right? And that for me is exactly it. Like every single day, if I can consistently attack 1% of my goal, where am I going to hit? And then the compound interest takes over, right? Like, every single day, 1% is actually an exponential growth. It's not a linear growth. And so I love what you said there, man. Do something that sucks every day. What I love about that is like this idea of doing and identifying the things you suck at. Most of us don't focus on it. It's like as soon as you suck at something, they like, you know, you're either forced to go all in on that and that becomes your life's goal. You suck at it and we've branded you and you got to do that shit forever. Or it's I quickly ignore it. But a lot of these things that we think we suck at are decided so early in life. So early. Like if I actually believe what everything was told to me and I believe that I'm a shitty speaker and I'm an introvert and I'm not a social butterfly and da da da, bro, imagine the life I would have lived if I actually thought I sucked at that kind of thing, right?
Exactly.
So how did you start to look at strength and weakness? And how did you consciously decide what to focus on and what you just like, fuck it, I'm going to suck at it. I don't care.
When I moved to Colombia, I had to learn a culture. I had to learn a language. I had to learn a whole new style of business. As you know, when you go down to Brazil, it's very different than North American business.
Yeah.
And as a side hustle, I was teaching business English. So basically coaching, but teaching them English along the way.
Right.
And I said to people, you're not going to get better if you're learning to swim in the pool. You got to swim in the ocean. And you got to sink or you got to swim. And if you were really passionate about this, you got to just figure it out and experiment. So like my story, I went to school, pre-law history major, looked at 7 years of it, and I'm like, not my thing. Went to accounting, got a D in auditing, and I'm like, not my thing. And then AC, Ashley Cox, my one of my mentors in college, broke me into marketing. And it wasn't what I thought marketing was. It was the creative side, the data, the measurement, the science of it.
Right.
But with that kind of flair of like, why do guys buy single ply toilet paper, but women will buy really comfortable ones? And why is marketing designed that way? And I got a little trouble in class. I said, because guys don't give a shit. So it's just finding what you're passionate about.
Right.
And also, as Dove Barron says, you have to find your purpose, then your passion, and then doing what sucks will become easier and easier because you know that you're going to be leveling up.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to bring that to a nice point. One of the things I want to focus on for the show is called Making Money Moves. People's relationship with money that gets handed down. You're either in survival mode or you're in growth mode. What's your relationship with money? How has that evolved? And how has that changed as you learn the art of storytelling and sales and connecting with other humans?
When I was a kid, my mom would just throw like Perspecti in the garbage and I would go dig into it. I'd watch CNBC with my stepdad. I was a junkie about it. And then I got to a point in my mid years and 20s, I just didn't give a crap. I was just like, oh yeah, I'll save and whatever. I can finance this and that. And finally, I just had that kind of Paul of Tarsus moment. You get knocked off your horse and you're like, no, I can take this 10, 20 bucks a day that I would normally spend on shit, that short-term goal, and through something like Robinhood or Acorns, just roll it up and roll it up. And even with your charitable giving, those little tiny increments have such a huge impact on your community. It's all about that discipline, and it's like lifting weights. It gets easier as you do it, and you don't even think about it. So at this point, even though I'm on the market and I'm running a consultancy, I'm still putting away because I know it's not about the rainy day fund. It's about the day when it's sunny and you got a good amount of soil and you've already planted that seed as you're taking compound interest. Don't think of your savings as a rainy day fund. Think of it as my dream fund for what I'm working for.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. What's up, Shalini? What's up, Sal's? What's up, Young Killer Official? What's up, C. Marina, Roy Evade? You know what's crazy? Spanish 5 stars. When I do something like this in Facebook, the real like human names pop up, so I can say what up. And the Instagram is so username driven.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's personal branding, man.
I talk in one of the chapters our fallacy with money, right? This notion that with growth in money we need to level up. What I mean by that is like, when I started my first company, I was earning just under 30K annually. It wasn't a lot of money, but I was also living in like my parents' room, and I didn't have a lot of overhead. So when you have no expenses, 30K is a lot of fucking money, right? But once I leveled up to like 50K, my first assumption was, oh, I'm making 50K, an extra 20K now. How can I spend that money? How can I get a bigger condo? How can I get a bigger whatever? And I did that. And then I remember looking back going, okay, I made 50K, worked really hard to make 50K, made an extra 20K, but there's no money left because I'm leveling up too soon. So ever since then, I've always stayed where I need to be for at least 2 years as I level up. Meaning, when I was making 50K and I was living in a condo and my lifestyle was built around 50K, even when I got to 150K or 200K, I still lived at 50K because the gap is where my profit and investment and equity really lived. So I didn't go get a new car. I didn't apply to a new condo. I didn't invest in anything else because the level up shouldn't reflect my lifestyle.
Exactly.
When I say that to young people, most of them like, what do you mean, bro? You just, you got a Gucci bag behind you. Yes, but that was 15 years later. Not when I hit the first milestone. You know what I mean?
You gotta treat yourself, man.
Yeah, because the rainy day will come. And, COVID's impacted a lot of people, you and me included. Talk to me about the fighter in you. How are you getting that strength to get up again and get to work?
John Barrows recently was on the 30 Minutes to President's Club podcast, which I highly recommend for any sales, marketing professional, anybody SDR and above wants to get in, listen to this. He kicked me in the teeth while I was on a run. I love John. Met him in person. He's an amazing guy. He called me flat out. He called all of us flat out. COVID isn't why you lost your job. COVID's not why you lost your business. You got lazy and you didn't level up and you were okay. And in good times, okay things can stick around. Like you're saying, you get out, you go and eat out and you go visit your friends and you go on a trip and whatever. You got to stay lean even in those times, because these other times will happen. And this is the time when people who realize this, they're going to be the first ones hired. And they're going to be the ones who stay hired and level up and move on because they're lean. Real quick reference, in North Carolina, especially on the coast, we have so many deer, and there's so many accidents with them because they're so lean and agile, because they're used to running in the swamps. So you got to have that mindset that even when COVID's over, even when we get a vaccine, even when the economy's banging and booming and all that, go back to the swamp, run through it, keep lean, and you're going to be the strongest out there.
Guys, if you didn't get that swamp reference, I need you to rewind it, man. He did that Jay-Z move just now, just blended that stuff in there, and you got to rewind to understand what does a deer in a swamp has to do with being lean and running. If you don't get it, we're not going to tell you. You got to go back and listen. That was bomb, bro. Love how you said it. How do you stay motivated? Let's talk about, the two other things that I love. How do you practice gratitude? How do you practice being mindful?
I set aside time every single day. First thing when I wake up, I go and I'll get some type of thing to hydrate myself, and I'll write. I'll write my daily post. And before I hit send, I'll go and do something else. I'll do like a 10-15 minute mindfulness and just reflect and empty out my head. Right. I got a kettlebell from onit.com. Let's get another shout out to them. And I just do reps. And once a week, I up my reps by 5. And I just do something else. Then I go hit my send. And before I wait for anybody to jump on and give me feedback, I go hit a shower and get my shower thoughts going on.
Right. Shower thoughts, another bomb. You know how people underestimate the shower thoughts? Jeez.
I need a waterproof whiteboard. Just like go memento in the shower.
There's an invention that we're going to figure out how to do, man.
100%.
What about manifestation? I heard a lot of people talk about manifestation. How do you do it? You know, for me, it's a visual thing. I have a Pinterest board. I clip things. I'm about to invest in a cork board that I can put on that wall. Nice. So that I can actually print stuff out, because I realized while the Pinterest board was easy to create, I don't see it every day, right? And for people, like, we're not kidding. Like, when we talk about like I don't know if you guys can see it. This is my sticky notes. One says smile, because I have to constantly remind myself, not because I want to just smile, but the act of smiling, even if you're faking it, changes your body and the way it thinks about what's happening. You can trick it, right? Tony Robbins says all the time, if you're sad or you're upset, think about a happy moment and force yourself to smile and see if you still like that in 10 minutes. You know what I mean? And it's a great, I always remind myself, smile. When I'm typing an email, I smile. When I'm on a phone call, I smile. When I just, it's a practice that I've had. And then 20K a month. That's my goal. How do I get to 20K a month? And how do I do that? And my formula is 100 over 100. I got to make 100 phone calls. I got to make 100 emails every single day. So for me, that's a reminder. So this works, guys. Like writing shit down, manifesting, and thinking about where you want to go really, really works. But how do you practice manifestation?
I have sticky notes all over. I'm a kind of a bachelor right now. My wife's in the immigration process, so I can do whatever I want. And in my
with limits, bro.
With limits. But I put sticky notes up on my wall, and I did it kind of like almost like you would do like an org chart of like, okay, this is the theme, and then I build out other sticky notes revolving around that. So like if I have investments, savings, crypto, metals, am I going to do that? What am I doing to level up me? And put like exploring an LLM, doing Coursera specializations, all those things, and build it out. So every day I see that and I visualize it through that. But also I got a sticky note that says every first draft sucks.
Yeah.
And you got to edit, and you got to get other people's feedback, and you got to be thick-skinned, because I'll go back to my job search. There were times that I was just getting feedback and I was like, come on, am I damaged goods? So what did I do? I looked at my network. I looked at the top people who I admire and would want to work for. I asked the question and I shut my mouth.
Right.
And they didn't offer me a job. They didn't offer me anything. They gave me the real feedback I needed. Right. And that's what I impart to anybody, a writer, a founder, a job seeker. Reach out to somebody that you really admire, whether they're a celebrity or not, especially because they'll talk. I talked to Tyler Quali through his Patreon. He's the coolest dude ever. And just ask that one question. Don't spam. Just put it out there. And if they reply, shut your mouth and listen.
Yeah. No, I love that, man. I love that. To get to the next section and the last section, I've taken up a lot of time. I've been really focusing this week on helping people shift their mindset on what holds them back. the idea of you don't succeed and fail, you accomplish things or you don't. The idea of, discovering not just your what and how, but why. And then what's the formula to identify why? Because there's a lot of people out there that say, oh, discover your why. Well, how do you do that? What's the formula? So we shared some of that. One of the things I've been really sort of talking about lately is this gratitude mindset, right? Like when I wake up in the morning, the first 10 minutes, I relive everything I'm grateful for, starting with I'm so glad I'm able to get up this morning, right? Know that my wife is beside me and my kids are down the hall. Like all of that stuff, first thing in the morning, just really sets you up for a different thing. I want to share 4 things that I've been thinking about. I just want to get your reaction to it. One, this topic of first time living. I was listening to a podcast, and guys, when you get a young person, they look at the life for the very first time in everything. They're in awe. They're in happy mode. And we tend to look at all the worst of things. How do you get into a mindset where you try to find the first time living in as many things as possible every single day? And that blew me away.
Yeah.
The second thing is about this idea of like, why me? And we do the why me syndrome. Like, it goes bad, but how many of us wake up in the morning and go, why me? Why do I get to have a great family? Why do I get to have great friends? Why do I get to have a great job? Why do I get to have great health? And that simple shift in why me really changes the way you look at your own life, right? And then the third thing is like, what more can I do today, right? Which is a really interesting thing, because when you ask yourself, what more can I do today in the context of being grateful, the list you have today might have to be reshuffled because half of it doesn't really matter now.
Exactly.
Right? Because you're not investing in other people. And then final thing that I practice every single day is, why not me? Right? There's so many things we're told we can't be, we can't do, we can't achieve. Starting every morning going, why not me? Why can't I have a morning show with millions of viewers? Why can't I write a book? Why can't I make 20K this month? And you might not need to know the answer, but the question kicks off a different mindset.
Exactly.
How do you sort of practice some of that? Does any of it resonate? Do you do other things that I can learn from?
Sure. Huge shout out to Casey Wiley. He just joined. He remembers when we were starting Minka and Olaluka, and one of my co-founders recommended a book to me called The Sacred Six. And it's your 6 different things that you want to focus on: being a better husband or parent, learning a language, making that 20K, getting 1 million viewers. That's your 6 things, but that's your long-term 6 things for the year. And then break it down by month, week, day. What am I doing each day to work towards these 6 things? Maybe you don't get to all 6. Right. If you get at least to 1, though, that's daily growth and progress. And like you're saying, the why me, I love your positive spin on it. Why do I have good things? Not why is everybody mean to me, or why are you, when you flip the script and you realize how good you actually do have it. Even when I was in Colombia and I wasn't making nearly anything with what I had in the US, there were so many others that I just saw that had nothing and they were happy because they had that happiness and their gratitude in their heart. And so kind of to impart on that, I recommend everybody listen to Denzel Washington's graduation speech.
Ooh, that's a big one.
When he says, say thank you for what is already yours. Yeah. And then when you get it, reach back. Each one, teach one. And it has completely changed my outlook and how things go in my life. And it's not magic. It's you taking the lead in your story.
What a great way to end. One last question, and I meant to ask you this earlier, and I forgot. You said earlier, watching the game tape.
Yeah.
So many of us don't know how to watch our own game tape. What is the simplest way for you to watch your own game tape, because that's such a beautiful analogy, because we move through so fast that we don't look at our game tape until shit happens. Oh my gosh, I lost my job. What happened? Or my lover left me, or my marriage didn't work out, or and then we're trying to piece a game tape from a negative emotional perspective. How do you consciously review your game tape? I do that by writing down every single night what was my big moments and what are my moments that I want to remember every single night.
I
What's your review?
I I recommend this to everybody, from an interview to a discovery call or demo. As you said, even in your own personal life, I was just about to say it. Keep notes and reflect on them after. Go over, and I don't even think it's people don't know. I think it's we just block it out. We don't want to hear it. And you got to defeat your ego. You got to surrender to the side of, I can be better. And you know who's my biggest competitor? It's me, because I'm the only one limiting myself.
Pew, pew,
So
pew. Listen, man, it's been a blast. Love you for joining me. I always enjoy our conversations. We're going to give a book away that you chose. Tell us about that book.
it is the sequel to Jocko Willing's Extreme Ownership, which I highly recommend for any person, whether you personal or professional life. Even if you are an entry level individual, you could take ownership and, in a way, reflect on upward. If your boss takes ownership and helps you in that way, good, everybody wins. But if not, you get recognized. So
Yeah.
take ownership, take it on the chin, come with a plan of how you're going to improve, and guarantee you can do things that you thought weren't even possible.
Bro, I love you for it. Guys, if you want a copy of that, then you got to help us. You got to share the feed. You got to tag a friend, leave a comment below, and we're going to pick somebody and send that book over. We'll get in touch with you to figure out the logistics. But it's a small way to thank you for spending the time with us. And, of course, thank you so much, Anthony, my dude. I know I'm going to talk to you later today, so this is not, I'll see you later. Peace out. I will literally call you in a few minutes, but I appreciate your time.